well too. So we're live on YouTube, guys. We're live on YouTube. We're live over here on X as well too, formerly known as Twitter. Shout out to QT, Mary, Carlos, Lamar. Some more people dropped in early. We're going to be discussing tonight the trade wars that's shaping up between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., as well as potentially China as well too. Shout out to everybody coming up in here. I know a lot of people have been worried about the actual price of goods and services in the country, and exactly how that's going to go about with the potential tariffs that could be potentially looming. We're going to discuss some of that today. Hopefully, we'll have a bunch of you guys chime in, give your opinions about the situation as well too. To my people coming in over there on YouTube. What's going on, Butterworth? What's up? What's up? Shout out to you over there and people coming in on YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead, like, share, subscribe, share out tonight's broadcast. To my people over here on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to all you guys as well too. Make sure you go ahead and retweet the space out. I want to hear some good conversation tonight. I want to hear what you guys think about the potential whirlwind that could be heading our way, heading our direction as well too. Shout out to all our people coming up in here, man. It should be an interesting discussion tonight. Hopefully, we'll have some of our people coming here and give us some scholarship. Shout out to Black Majority State. I know, Black, when you get a chance, you'll definitely swing in. I would love to hear what you got to say about it. Shout out to you. I see you up in here as well, Talent. Shout out as well too. Yeah, guys. Trade war, is it looming? Is it on the way? I'm gonna touch up on an article or two in a second. I'm just trying to let a few more of our people come up in here as well too. But I got two articles that I want to go ahead and I want to share and I want to discuss tonight. And it's like the first one is talking about, of course, it's talking about the potential tariffs as well too. And then the second article is kind of talking about, hey, maybe we'll pull it back for a month or so and see how things are kind of flowing and everything like that as well too. So. I want to hear what you guys got to say about that. Shout out, I see DJ's up in the space now as well too. So shout out to him. Shout out to DJ. DJ, I sent you the co-host invite, but I don't know if I don't see that it sent it to you. I don't know if did it send it to you? Okay, it did. Okay, now I see it. Yeah, man, we gotta discuss this right here because a lot of our people, they're worried and rightfully so. We're hearing that potential goods and stuff like that because something like $155 billion of U.S. goods could be potentially taxed by Canada as well too. So I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to share that as well too. Shout out to everybody coming in. Let me go ahead and DJ, what's up, man? How's the audio? I know you in and out. Can you hear me okay? Can you guys, if you guys can hear me in the space, okay? I know you guys on YouTube can hear me loud and clear, but on X, if you guys can hear me good, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know that the audio and everything is of quality that you guys can hear me, the sound and everything else as well too. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumb up, give me a fist, give me a hand, give me something. Let me know.
We share the room now because it's Mondays.
Okay, so everybody can hear me just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead real quick and I'm gonna touch up on this first article. I want to touch up on this first article. A pretty short article from one of our curation partners at the Tennessee Tribune. Make sure you guys support the Tennessee Tribune.com. It's tntribune.com. Make sure you guys support that. It says Canada, Mexico strike back with retaliatory tariffs on American goods hours after Trump's executive orders. Canada and Mexico's top leaders blasted President Trump Saturday, hours after he imposed a 25% tariff on the neighboring countries and announced they would retaliate by enforcing their own on the U.S. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau revealed he and Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo agreed to work together to push back against Trump's long-awaited taxing program, which he claimed was aimed at halting the influx of drugs into the U.S. Trump put a 25% tariff on the Canadian and Mexican imports, while Chinese products will receive a mere modest 10% tariff. Canada plans to put a 25% tariff on $155 billion worth of U.S. goods, including beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. Early Saturday, Mexico President Claudia Pardo ordered tariffs on the U.S. and blasted Trump's suggestion that the Mexican government harbors alliances with criminal organizations and cartel members. So she went in on that. Let me go ahead to real quick, guys. Now I want to touch up on this article from another one of our curation partners, Atlanta Voice. And this was today. This was actually, I think, Atlanta Voice actually curated from CNN. So let me go ahead and read this real quick. It says, Trump says he agreed to immediately pause anticipated tariffs on Mexico for 1 month. President Donald Trump said Monday he agreed to immediately pause tariffs on Mexico for a month after a friendly conversation with the country's president, Claudia Sheinbaum. I just spoke with the president, Claudia Sheinbaum, in Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States, Trump wrote on Truth Social. These soldiers will specifically be designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country, he wrote. Trump on Saturday announced new tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China. The sweeping actions scheduled to take effect Tuesday consisted of a 25% duty on all imports from Mexico and most from Canada, where there was a carve-out of 10% tariff on energy products and a new 10% tariff on Chinese goods. The extraordinary moves against America's 3 largest trading partners sent shockwaves through the North American economy, rattling businesses and markets. The Dow tumbled nearly 600 points at the opening bell. We further agreed to immediately pause anticipated tariffs for a 1-month period during which we will have negotiations headed by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, and Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives of Mexico, Trump wrote on his social media platform. I look forward to participating in these negotiations with the president as we attempt to achieve a new deal between our 2 countries. Sheinbaum also posted on social media about the pause, saying she and Trump had reached an agreement on security and trade. Mexico will immediately reinforce the border with 10,000 members of its National Guard, while the U.S. committed to working on preventing high-powered weapons from being trafficked to Mexico, Sheinbaum said. Appreciate that for the super sticker. Thank you, Sexy Red. Thank you. DJ, what's going on? I know you want to touch up on that, so go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, I ain't really got. Excuse me. I ain't. What's up, everybody? You already know. I ain't got much to say about it other than I agree with the tariffs. That's about it. Well, let me come back up here where y'all at too. So yeah, shout out to the family. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you just happen to jog your memory back and go back to 2016 to 2020, your life didn't change, and Trump did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Toilet paper went up a quarter or something like that. I know something that could affect some people, even just slightly a quarter, but not really. You know what I mean? It's not that type of tariff. You got to understand what a lot of these countries like China, and as I was over here looking at it, I wish I could play the video what Trump was saying, that, we don't really need Canada because most of their stuff is our stuff anyway. So why would we sweat $100 billion in money when we getting trillions of dollars every year in GDP money? You know what I'm saying? So that's like, us sweating, I lost $5. I know you're going to work tomorrow anyway. You're going to make that $5 right back. So that's really what it is. And, it just really depends on you, the person, of how these tariffs is going to affect you in the sense of, well, am I supplying and doing shipping and supplying? And am I my supplier? Am I a distributor? Do I sell product? 9 times out of 10, no. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it ain't going to affect you. The only way it's going to affect you is at the end result of the register. Meaning, prices are going to go up, but not to the extent of like, oh my God, I just can't afford anything. That ain't going to happen, bro. The country would be up in arms, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then, stop buying stuff. That's really what the argument is. Like online be saying, stop buying stuff. The price of eggs is $10 a carton or a dozen or whatever. I ain't had a bacon, egg, and cheese in God knows how long, and I'm from New Jersey, and I need my fix. You feel what I'm saying? So come on already. Lower the prices of eggs, or either that, I'm about to go save my money and get me a couple chickens myself or some roosters or something. You know what I mean? And just start laying some eggs and look, be done with it. About to start growing food, all this other stuff. You heard what I was saying earlier, Newstoter By. What's up, Big Dog Original? Go ahead, you got it, man.
Real quick, I want to ask this question right here. Why do they want to hit China? Why do they want to hit Mexico and Canada with 25%, but then they're only hitting China with 10%? With China's economy Is the second largest economy in the world. I mean, why would they not, why wouldn't you hit China with 25%, at least 20% or whatever, but you're only hitting them with a measly 10%. So that to me, that was kind of fascinating that they're kind of going light on China, but you're kind of hitting Canada and you're hitting Mexico kind of hard there. And let me give a shout out real quick to Nightfall as well, too. Shout out Nightfall. I see you over there on YouTube, and thank you, brother, for the contribution. But go ahead, DJ.
Moderator over there on ScrewTube. So yeah, you're going over to the Newstoter on YouTube, aka ScrewTube. Y'all know the time. You know what I mean? But the only reason why you're doing that is because we still do business with China. We got a lot of our own personal infrastructure in China. All that stuff is our stuff, aka not like us. So in reality, we really don't need them. We just really buying time. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, to get our stuff back online over here in the West. So again, the TSMCU or TMCU plant or whatever the Taiwan chip manufacturing plant, Biden done signed off on that. Both sides of the aisle, donkey, elephant, don't got a problem with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we about to start manufacturing our own chips. And, hey, black folks, get your kids to start learning how to code and all this other good stuff. They ain't got to go dive deep into the books. A lot of this stuff is free. You just got to go online and start looking at it. I post plenty of free coding stuff up on our funded socially platform. You could come up there in the Black Kids for Education room or the jobs community. His Master IT is up there, and he on YouTube teaching people how to code for free. And I can't think of the sister name that really started this whole thing, trying to teach kids how to code for free. Shout out to her, because she got TED Talk and all that other stuff. I can't think of the sister name, so shout out to her. But yeah, we don't need China. We just buying time, you know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that they've been making lately anyway is inferior. You send all these toxic products over here. We see reports every day. Well, I do. I watch Consumer Reports. You know what I'm saying? Every day, like Temu, y'all black ladies, y'all women's sisters, y'all gotta stop ordering from Temu. Ain't nothing but chemical stuff up in there. You feel what I'm saying? California Prop 65 warning. I know you see it everywhere now. Because a lot of this stuff is made in China. It ain't made here in America. You know what I mean? You better all paying that extra $50, $20. At least this way, you know, you get something of substance, something that'll last. You know, grandma's old kitchen table. You still got it. You know what I'm saying? They don't make stuff like that no more. And sure as heck ain't coming from no China. That's over with. They don't even care what they get their own people. Why would they care what they get to us? You know what I mean? And I think it was a Chinese store in your neighborhood, two-toter. They just got busted, you know what I'm saying? We're preparing food on the ground, all this other stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody eating that. Asian hate fake, son. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what y'all talk about. Then you got the Asian chicks over here in America. They ill-willing Martin Luther King. Oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? And then they over here asking, can we use the Black National Anthem, We Shall Overcome, to help them with their fight? Definitely hell no. As a DJ, you know what I'm saying? You can't use that. That's our anthem. Go get your own anthem. You know what I'm saying? Ain't Dragon Ball Z an anthem? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, yo. So it's like, yeah, we don't really need China. We just buying time. We ain't gonna hit them. We don't gotta hit them in the pockets too hard anyway. 10% ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. And don't forget, they ain't gonna hit them too hard because Elon trying to sell his useless discriminatory Teslas in China. Ain't nobody buying those. Don't ever buy a Tesla. I don't care. Don't. You know, Elon don't like black people. So that's the other argument for that. You got the Apple knackers, iPhone 5500s. You know what I'm saying? That new iPhone 20 about to drop. I know y'all about to spend y'all money on it. Don't go get it. Don't spend no money on anything for the next 4 years, yo. For real. Don't spend no money or nothing. Go research our sister Maggie Anderson, Our Black Year, and she will show you how to buy strictly black. Now we ain't gonna get everything we want from a knacker. We might have to buy some from the black knackers too, and Asian knackers and whoever knacker to get what we need. But for the most part, start looking for a brother or sister that got it already. But go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and shout out to Nightfall and Retaliate. They pretty much made the same point that you made too, in terms when I said, why is China getting so cheap, getting off so cheap with only the 10% tariffs that they want to place on them? And basically it is, China owns a great deal of our debt. The economies are tied to each other as well too. So that's the reason, I guess, that they're not going after China as much as they are, as you know, Canada and Mexico, I guess, but because China owns so much of the U.S. debt, and our actual, I guess, our economies with this global crap is so tied in and everything as well too. They don't want to go after China too hard because China could actually hit back just as hard as well too, because we depend on them for so much. Why we depend on them for what we do, I have no idea why, but that was a good point.
Manufacturing.
Yeah, but yeah, we gave manufacturing to them. We didn't have to give manufacturing to them. We were manufacturing. At one time, the United States was the biggest manufacturers on earth. Then they started outsourcing all this work for cheap labor and everything else as well. Too. You didn't want to pay a decent wage over here, so I'll go overseas and I'll pay. Instead of paying the people over here $15 an hour, I'll pay these people in one of these countries $20 a week and stuff like that. Were just ridiculous stuff that they were paying just damn near slave wages, at the very least sharecropper type wages. So that's one thing that sunk everything as well too. We got Original up here. What's up, Original? I know brought you up here to co-host because I knew that this would probably be a topic that I know you want to touch upon as well too. I know you see everything that's going on with these trade and these tariffs and everything else. We think that potentially it could be could potentially get down to the point where you have a trade war between the U.S. and Canada and Mexico. But then it seems like the United States, the article I read, it seems like with Trump and the U.S. that they kind of backpedaled a little bit, and you got Trump now having the Mexican president say, hey, she's going to give 10,000 Mexican National Guards to stand at the border and kind of patrol everything as well too. So I'll let you. Matter of fact, let me get to Ricky. I see he got his hand up, and then I'll come back to you, Original. I don't know if you want to speak right now, but I want to get to you too, Original. But Ricky, what's going on?
What's up, Newstoter? What's up, everybody?
What's up now?
Very important topic, trade. As Black people, we should remember why they shipped jobs overseas. After the civil rights movement and when people started marching and trying to hold government accountable and making demands, they said these people have way too much time on our hands. And during the Nixon era, one of the reasons that the deep state went after him is that he didn't want to get rid of the jobs. The government said these people have too much time. They have the ability to fight back. They have the ability to protest. They have the ability to form coalitions. Look at what the Panthers did. Look at what various other groups did. So when they saw that, they said, we got to make it to where everybody's working. They don't have time to go fight back. They don't have time to analyze and hold us accountable. And that's kind of where it comes from. And when I'm watching, I didn't vote for Trump, but I agreed with him on free trade. Free trade has been a disaster. It's a bad policy. The point and purpose of government should be to protect our way of life. The way of life that, our parents had and the people had, the boomers, there were good jobs. You could get out of high school, you could go work at your local factory and have a wage where you could buy a house, take care of your family, and do well. It was a government policy to take that away from us. All of these people gripe, and I've heard people that say they have an issue with the way Trump is doing. And I've asked them, I talked to people today, other than economic protectionism, what is it that you want to do? And what do I get? I get, well, the jobs aren't coming back. There's nothing you can do about it. They're not offering an alternative. I think this is an opportunity for us to say that the American people got to be the priority. You have cities like Detroit, Black cities, where people with good union jobs, with good manufacturing jobs, could have great lives. And because the government didn't want us to hold them accountable, and that's basically the political motivation behind it. But it is these corporations. They say, all right, well, I can produce this over here for way cheaper. But then if you produce it over there for way cheaper, who's going to buy your product? That's something they seem to never care about. And now we're going to see, this is where the rubber meets the road right here. If we can make government, if Trump can make government say, all right, we're going to have good paying jobs. We're going to produce the things that we haven't been producing. Remember during the pandemic, they said, we can't get this, we can't get that, because only China makes it. And we can't get the stuff from China right now. That was a national security risk. Everything that we need, the chips and everything else to Taiwan, we need to produce everything ourselves. not only for the economy, but for national security. And what the hell is the point of government if that's not what they're there to do? Thank you for the money.
Yeah, and I'm in 100% agreement with you on that, Ricky, as well, too. When we go back and we think about the pandemic, and everything was getting delayed and everything else like that because they was talking about the logistics with the ships and everything out there, and this ship couldn't land and that ship couldn't land. And I was simply, certain things that you needed, necessity items, for the United States to brag about being the dominant power on earth, about being this and that, whatever, the greatest country on earth. Why are we depending on foreign nations to go ahead and manufacture goods for us that we can manufacture, for one, better than anybody else on the planet? That in a time of need, we need to be able to access these goods ASAP. We don't need to have to worry about getting them a month from now or 2 or 3 weeks later, or whatever. We need to go ahead and get them ASAP. So I never understood that. I understood the reason why they started going ahead and sending these jobs overseas, because they're greedy as hell and they want to go ahead and they prioritize profit over the productivity of Americans. So I understood exactly why they were selling out the American public as well too, but it never made any sense to me. Same thing. I was having this discussion with my father. We were talking about the trade tariffs that Mexico was talking about, and when we were talking about the produce and the fruits and stuff that we get from Mexico. And don't get me wrong, Mexico has great produce and everything else as well too. And I'm not taking that away from them. I'm sure that they're one of the top producers of produce in the world. But just between California and Florida, I mean, do you know what kind of produce we put out? So for us to have to go and get oranges from Mexico or a foreign nation makes no sense. I told my dad, I said, when was the last time we went in the store and we actually got a Florida orange? When was the last time we actually, when you ate an orange, it actually on that sticker said from Florida? I mean, I have to think back in the 90s, maybe, when I was younger and stuff like that, a kid. But I mean, it's been so long since I've actually seen the tag, the sticker that says Florida oranges, the actual produce that we're known for, the fruit that we're known for. We have to go ahead and we're buying foreign produce from foreign nations and stuff like that. And just, I'm gonna be honest, just me personally, with everything that you have, when you have some of the stuff, some of the issues you have with things being contaminated and this and that or whatever, we know that happens over here in this country. We see recalls every day. We see things getting recalled back right here that's made in this country. So imagine you having to depend on a foreign entity or whatever, not knowing exactly how they cultivate the agriculture, what they're using for the soil and this and that, whatever. Because I remember years ago and stuff like that, they were talking at one time that that China was at, this is back in the mid 2000s. I forgot when it was, but they were talking about some of the produce over there in China may have actually been they may have used actually human manure and stuff to go ahead and get these to bring the products up and stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, I don't particularly I don't want to eat all these farm raised fish from all over the world, and I don't know how they're being raised. I don't want to deal with all that. Like, we have enough. To me, trade is supposed to be that, hey, things that are necessity that I can't actually I can't create myself. I'll trade you goods that I got that you don't have, and vice versa. But things that we grow in abundance and everything else like that or whatever, I'm just not with that, man. I prefer that we go ahead. We should be able to feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, and this and that, whatever. And some of what DJ was saying as well too about Canada, some of the imports that they're talking about getting from Canada and stuff like that, and that Canada's talking about potentially taxing us on or whatever. A lot of the stuff we already have here, man. Canada, population wise, is not bigger than California. If we talk, I'm not talking about land mass, I'm talking about population. Canada has something like maybe 40 some million people. For the longest, Canada has something like 30 some million people up there. The vast majority of that country, the people don't even live in because it's a damn ice cap or whatever. So let me go ahead and get to the hands. I said we got Black Majority State up. We got Twizzle up. We got Apia up here as well too. So let me go ahead and get the Black Majority State, and I'm gonna get the you Twizzle, and I'm gonna get the you Apia. You there, Black?
Yeah, my bad. I was on the other phone. Let me shut this truck up real quick. So I came up early because I'm gonna be driving for a minute after this. But I'll make a couple points. So Canada, I just saw, it's called Epic Maps. They posted a image of the United States and where states export to. And outside of the Southwest, which was Mexico, I think Florida was Brazil, there were a couple other countries, but most of the United States export to Canada. Canada is the biggest exporting state. In other words, these states are making money off of Canada by exporting their goods to Canada. So that's one thing for people to understand what's going on. When you said Florida, I was thinking Florida's natural orange juice, because I see that in the grocery stores, and I looked it up, and they said, yeah, they do. But then they also said their largest exportation of Florida oranges is to Canada as well. I think Puerto Rico, you can look it up yourself. So they're exporting a lot of the oranges out of Florida into Canada. So this was what the globalist system was set up and designed to do, to create these interconnected dependencies so that the United States could implement sanctions so that they could essentially force countries to do their will. Now Mark Cuban, which I reposted, came out recently and said within 5 years, based on BRICS, the United States will not be able to sanction these countries anymore. So they're going to kind of lose that weapon that they've been using, and then that's going to force them to get a little more of a stronger military posture with blockades and things of that nature, more than likely. So having Trump in office with all these things going on could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Depends on how you look at it. What I do know is the same way that they took manufacturing out of the United States to set up this globalist interconnected system, again, so they could apply pressure whenever they wanted to, so corporations could make huge profits, etc., was to damage Black Americans, period. That's the whole reason. It doesn't really go much further than that. The reason that they're trying to bring it back is not to uplift Black Americans, no matter what anybody thinks. Because at the heart of what's really going on, and we talked about this in the space on Friday, is you have masculine, MAGA, conservative, white male supremacists who want to reset their power, their superiority, their dominance over America and the world, essentially. And then you have the liberal, white, racist, effeminate feminist. And if you look at everything that they're targeting for dismantling, it's likely going to be hyper-connected to some feminist agenda. And in my opinion, trade, you can make different arguments and you can make a connection if you choose. The Department of Education, DEI, affirmative act, you could probably make a laundry list of all these things that white feminism implemented at the highest scales. And this is what they're doing. They're just pulling all that back, because if you listen to these racist white men at all at any point in time, which I rarely do, but I've started to at least understand their mindset, they blame everything on women. They sit around in these spaces, whatever, in different places, and YouTube and all these chats, and ultimately it always comes down to women or the source of a lot of their problems. And so what I think Trump represents, I know Elon's more on, he's established in this technocracy, his global technocratic, techno-oligarch state. That's why he's out there saying make Europe great again, or make Britain great, or whatever his new MA, whatever A is. It's all about white male dominance. So these moves, Mexico just folded. That's another thing. The Secretary of Defense is at the border. They there with the troops. They saying, look, we about to come in. They got U.S. spy planes flying over Mexico now, about to target cartels. So a lot of this is threats with action behind it, because that's a real threat. That's a real demand. You have a demand, you have a time schedule, and then you put real action behind it. Otherwise, you're just talking. So Trump is putting real threats behind the demands, and some of these countries are folding, they're caving in. Other countries are not. Nigeria just told a bunch of people to get out of the country. They're nationalizing. As a matter of fact, I think it's American countries. They're nationalizing, supposedly, American corporations. We'll see how far they get with that. There's going to be a lot of moving parts in this soap opera, and it's gonna be so fluid that one day it could be this, and then you wake up and it's something else, or 5 hours later it's something totally different. So it's just going to be a roller coaster. But I'm listening to the space. I wanted to get in before I'm driving. So shout out to Newstoter DJ and all the folks in the space.
All right, appreciate you, Black. Thank you for coming on up here. Let me go ahead and get to Twizzler. Twizzler, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, shout out to you, man. Shout out to everybody in here. So shout out to you, Black, man. I heard you, man. Drive safe, man, on that highway, man. He kind of threw me off because everything he was talking about I kind of agree with. But hey, shout out to you, Newstoter, man, because you were saying you was going to hold off on the spaces. So shout out to you kicking it back up. Trade war in Mexico and Canada. In a kind of way, this is something that we kind of needed, man, because as the old school saying goes, we got grown folks in the room right now. So we have to set the law down because we've been getting manipulated and took advantage of for a long time. And when we go to agriculture, we can talk about, I come from culinary industry, culinary background. I've been cooking for 29 years. That's damn near half my life. And I know the majority of our food, the majority of our vegetables, our produce, it came from the Central Valley. It came from California. We don't really need nobody else because everybody know California is the bread basket when it comes to food, especially vegetables. You know what I mean? Especially like come on, artichoke, celery. We have so many vegetables that we produce out here because of our climate. We have basically a fruitful climate. Like I said, I'm from California. I never seen snow, so basically we can grow all year round. So we can basically feed the majority of the West Coast. So we don't really need a lot of these countries. We don't need Canada. We don't need Mexico. They need us. And if you don't believe me, what was the NAFTA agreement? The NAFTA agreement was to take a lot of companies, a lot of jobs, and a lot of industries out of America and ship them down to Mexico and Canada just so they can have an income and a financial base. We don't need NAFTA. And that's why I kind of agree with this. And he's slowly, and not only that, doing it under the rug, he's trying to cancel NAFTA because everything needs to be made in America, not the North American trade agreement that has Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and all the Americans all into it. We need to be about America, the North American, the 50 states, the lower 50 states, because this is where the majority of the income is. You know what I mean? Like I said, in California, once you leave LA, you got to go up Interstate 5 and 99. And all that is 100% agricultural for damn near 300 miles, but almost 300 miles is agriculture. Just imagine the stuff that they grow through there because the soil is so fertile. They grow pineapples year round. You got Palmdale to where that's the biggest date farm in America. You know what I'm saying? We got up here in Northern California, you got Gilroy, California. That's the garlic capital of the world. Every year they have the Gilroy Garlic Festival to where you get the best ice cream in the world, the best garlic almond praline ice cream in the world. So I don't understand why they say we have to do this NAFTA agreement where we have to do business with Mexico and Canada just to get our stuff when we're totally self-sufficient in America. You know what I'm saying? So I just came up here to say that. Shout out to you, Newstoter, and the family in the room. And hey, we got to stay 10 toes down and we got to stand on this because, as I said, as long as we possess receipts, that's the best evidence in the world. So shout out to the room. Shout out to Sister Wani. Block, block. Sister Wani won a Grammy for her room. You know what I mean? Shout out to the room, man.
All right, appreciate that. Twizzler, thank you for coming up here speaking. What's up, Wani? I see you down there as well too. And what you say, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, Twizzler, because I'm here in Florida, and simply because California is so much bigger than Florida, but I think we're the second or third largest producer, of agriculture in the country. So I mean, we don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need to trade with anybody, to be honest. Like, you're right. Like, America is maybe the only self-sufficient nation on earth. Like, hey, we got enough resources and stuff right here in this country. Now, the stuff that we don't have, to me, and when I think of trade, that's what I think. Hey, I don't have this on my side, so you got that side. Let me trade something you ain't got, and you give me this in return or whatever. But just to go ahead and it's the same way. And Nightfall said it on he said it on YouTube too. It's the same way like with the farmers and stuff, especially the white farmers in particular. The actual government is subsidizing these people not to grow corn, not to grow this, not to grow that, or whatever. Now, black farmers, of course, they don't get the same subsidies these white farmers get. You know, the white farmers, you know, they ain't got to grow a damn thing, and they taking care of or whatever. But black farmers, you know, you gonna have to try to make it the best way you can. So I agree with what you're saying right there. Like, hey, my thing is like what am I? What's the mineral that's put into the cell phones that's over there in Africa? What is that called again? Cobalt. Okay, we don't have that here in America, so that's what I'm saying.
They're finding it over here in America.
Oh, they're finding it over here in America?
Yes, they're finding it over. They found it up there in LA where they had the fires at, bro.
No, I didn't know that. I thought that was something specifically only over there, pretty much that not the only thing that, but I thought that was what they had in large numbers. Okay.
Let me just say this, and I'm gonna land my plane. We just in another space where we were just talking about land. Whenever you buy a house and you purchase the land, you make sure you purchase the mineral rights to land. You make sure you purchase the mineral rights because you don't know what's in that land. You know, you may buy a house with some land on it, but yet you may just be digging to like put an ADU back there or a pool back there, and you may discover some iron, some cobalt. You know what I'm saying? Some tungsten. You know what I'm saying? Some major mineral back there. You may even discover oil. You know, and if you don't own the mineral rights, the federal government, the state, they gonna come take that. We was just talking like. It was a lady on there in Mississippi. She had some land that her family owned that had oil on it. What the oil companies did, they bought some land down there 5 miles down and tapped into her oil reserve on her family land and sucked all the motherfucking oil up out of there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You know, they sucked all the oil up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that we're learning right now, and this is some things that we have to pay attention to. When you purchase land, make sure you purchase the mineral rights as well. You know what I'm saying? I land my plane there.
All right, appreciate that, Twizzle. Let me go ahead and get to Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. What's going on, Pressure?
What's up, News? What's up, Black Fam? So look,
what's up?
Check this out. All y'all took my talking points. It's like Twizzle read my mind, but so News is right. Black majority was right. Twizzle was absolutely right. But we'll say this. I don't know. I know I'm jumping in late, so y'all might have talked about this already. China is different from Canada and Mexico because all of this debt they hold. So they're a little bit different. Plus, even when you talk about, like, I'll give you an example. Like me, I was born and raised in Texas, right? So you talk about the Ford F-150, right? The number one selling truck in the United States for the last 40 years. It's like the iconic Texas vehicle. You would be surprised that Mazda makes all the engines for the F-150. So you have Asian company. I'm not sure if it's Chinese or Japanese. I should know that being in the space. But yeah, they make all the Japanese. Okay, thank you. Yeah, they make all the engines for the F-150. So, like I'm saying, you got to realize America is literally the definition of capitalism. You remember that movie? It was years ago. I remember I was a teenager. What's that movie where Bruce Willis blew up that asteroid?
Oh, you talking about damn, what's that movie? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Armageddon, yeah.
There was a line in that movie that's absolutely true. It takes a simple Google search. Remember they went out of space and they hooked up with that guy from Russia, right? He was in the Russian space station. And he said, Russian space station, American rocket ship, everything made in China. Absolutely true. That's why they have leverage against those terrorists because we depend on them for so much stuff. Me and Black Majority were talking about 6 months ago, and I told them this was like a couple of years ago. I told them I went to go look. I was gonna I was thinking about purchasing an F-150 Raptor, the racing edition. So I went to a few dealerships around Houston, and all the guys was like, "Yeah, man, you can't buy the 23 because they didn't make it." And I said, "Well, why they didn't make the 23?" He said, "Because China didn't make the chips for the engine." He said, "So you could buy the 22, or you can just wait and see if they're gonna come with a new model for 24." So they have so much leverage against us when it comes to those tariffs. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I do agree with Black Majority. I was doing some simple research. Started out with a Google search. Donald Trump is really not off when he's talking about how the U.S. is getting screwed trading with these other countries. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong about that. Like I say, you start with a Google search. He's absolutely right. America gets screwed trading with those people. And one more thing before I meet up and listen. Twizzle brought up something I was going to bring up. You brought up NAFTA. If anybody is in here that's old enough to remember the 92 presidential debates, I think he's dead now. But if you remember those debates, it was Bill Clinton and Ross Perot. Ross Perot said on national TV, I remember I was in middle school, he said it would be a disaster if the United States gets involved with NAFTA because all the jobs will go to Mexico, and he wasn't lying. And I'll meet up and listen.
All right. Thank you, Pressure. Thank you. So we got a bunch of people up in here. So guys, don't be afraid to come on up here and get on the mic. We want to hear what everybody's got to say. I definitely love to hear what you guys got to say about this topic here. The craziest thing in the world is that the United States has been so cutthroat over the years to get to that top position, to be the number one, the top country in the world, the top economy and everything else. And then when they finally get there, they start going ahead and they do everything they can to undermine their own people by essentially becoming dependent on other nations. I don't understand that. The United States really invested a lot of money in some of these nations like China as well too. They helped China get to the point that where they're at as well too. They help build infrastructure all throughout the world. I just don't understand. It just makes no sense that you would be so dependent when you had everything, when everybody was dependent really on you, when you had the actual de facto dollar on earth, the American dollar. And now you set up there and you've given away, you've just given away a lot of influence over the years as well too. And like you say, Pressure, I'm not a Trump fan either, but some of what he's saying is correct. Now, everybody, I want to get what you guys think about, like I said, as well too, because a lot of our people are fearful of what it's going to look like when they go to the grocery store, when they go to the pump, or when they go out someplace or whatever, that these goods and everything else that may potentially get hit with 25%, tax or whatever. How is that going to affect your bottom line? How is that going to affect your pockets as well too? Because we got a lot of people that's really, really concerned and worried about that, saying, hey, you know what? And let's be for real, the prices of everything has been going up, especially if we just look at everything since the pandemic. Like, I mean, when you look just 3 years ago and they show you the price of food and the price of your utility bills, your light bill, and everything else as well too, how things are just constantly going up. People are a little bit worried about that as well too. So that's just something else to think about as well too. Go ahead, DJ. And Original, like I said, I didn't forgot you. I know you kind of quiet tonight, but I definitely wanted to hear what you got to say as well too. Shout out to, I see my professor up in here as well too. Val, that Negro, Shannon. I see my girl Trouble done made her way up in here. I see my girl Goddess done made her way up in here. Who down there?
Anybody seen online? She MIA now, talking all that smack about tariffs.
I don't see. I see Viral. I see 400. I see a bunch. I see Ray down there as well too. I see a bunch of our folks down there. So shout out to all you guys up in the space tonight.
Hey, no, give me 30 seconds when you get done.
Go ahead, Pressure.
I was gonna say real quick. I know it may be different from people from further away up north and all that, but in Texas, it could be dead of winter, and you can go in the grocery store, and you can still get watermelon year round. So about a year or two ago, I looked on the watermelons. I went, it was like, I don't know, 30 degrees outside. we get those watermelons from Mexico during the dead of winter. I don't know if everybody else gets them, but out here you could get the watermelons year round because they come from Mexico.
Yeah, because I saw some watermelons in the store. Because back in the day, like watermelons was like a summer type thing, and I'm looking around. I'm like,
it was seasonal.
Yeah, I'm like, where the hell are these watermelons coming from now? Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, some of the family went to the store, so I'm like, how the hell y'all eating watermelons this time of year? Whatever. I'm like, this had to come from a whole nother place, like this, because it was seasonal. It was during the spring, during the summertime and stuff down south, whatever. People had their watermelons. My grandma used to grow watermelons and stuff like that as well too. Yeah, and now I'm seeing it. People eating watermelons all different times of the year. Just like I see mangoes and stuff. I was in the store a few months ago. They had mangoes up in there. I'm like, well, like what country did these mangoes here come from? Because this ain't, my sister got trees and stuff down south of mangoes, or had trees with mangoes in it. They had to cut them down because some kind of virus or something that was attacking the trees down in Broward County. But I'm like, where are these mangoes coming from? Like, this has to come from a whole nother nation, a whole nother region and stuff. So,
and news, if you look at them, I don't know if y'all get them in Florida, y'all might, but if you look at them, it's a different species of watermelon because they're small and oval. They're not long and oval like the regular watermelons we get in the summer, but they do come from Mexico, and when it's winter out here, they get them out of Mexico.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that pressure. DJ, I know you had your hands up. Let me go ahead and get to you. And original, I want to get to you as well too. Is original you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, everybody has said majority of what needed to have been said, but I think what we have to understand also is that these jobs were sent out of the country because black people were coming up. I remember there was a company called Chalkline. They made little kind of rayon jackets that they wear with the sporting events. They put the logos and stuff on. There were primarily black women that were working at this. It was a sewing plant, and the plant was in proximity to the black community. So these women, they could walk to work. A lot of them did not have a car. And then eventually, after they saved their money and stuff, they started buying cars and homes and this, that, and whatever. And they started noticing how black people were coming up. And they started to remove those things from this country because of us. And if you notice that, people like Messy Jesse, they wasn't pushing entrepreneurship. They was promoting go to college and go to some kind of school and get you a job. Instead of investing in the people in the community, they went outside. And you look at what they said about China. I put in the purple pill, like what DJ said about buying this stuff that's made in China. There's a company called Lumber Liquidator. They was having their flooring made in China. And what China was doing, China overly saturated the flooring with formaldehyde or something like that. And when these people installed that flooring in their home, everybody started getting sick. And then they found out what the issue was. It was that process at which China was manufacturing that flooring that was causing these people to get sick. Yeah, Temu may sound, it may be cheap or whatever, but I would be very skeptical putting something on my body that the skin is the biggest organ, something that came from China, because you don't know what you get, and as far as it is that America has more oil under this than Saudi Arabia. So all this stuff about the oil prices and this, that, and whatever, we have to really, look at this because the whole thing. Because see, back in the 70s, you had there was some kind of oil embargo. There was an oil and gas shortage. People was fighting each other trying to get gas. It was a mess. It came out years later that that was all manufactured. And then it came out that America had enough oil. They did this to terrorize people, their own citizens. I mean, you'd be surprised at what some of these, when you see some of this stuff that happens, you'd be surprised when people look at it. Even when some people try to tell the truth about it, they call them crazy conspiracy theorists and things like that. But we have to be willing to, put that work in and make sure that we are good. Because again, back in the 70s, that's all you heard was Florida oranges. I forget what this lady, what's her name? She said something, Anita Bryant. She said something about the gay folks, and she was all promoting Florida, the Sunshine State, the oranges, and And so what everybody's up here saying is true, that we are, America, the American government is manufacturing a lot of these issues to basically scare people into submission. And let me say this. And also too, and they go around the world doing this. Like back in the 90s, it was said that Nigeria, I think it was Nigeria, they was trying to build a gun or ammunition manufacturing plant. And every time they would get the plant so far off the ground, mysteriously somebody would blow the plant up. It would get blown up. So these things, a lot of this stuff is all orchestrated, and we just have to stay on our square and make sure that we don't get caught up in their mess in our land.
For those that can, make sure you support us on Cash App, $Newstoter. $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter. $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, we have the PayPal and Venmo up in the Jumbotron. Same for my people on YouTube, $Newstoter. Newstoter. Let me go ahead and get you. And let me say one thing before I get to DJ Original. Get your point. When we had that pandemic, like I say, we had to wait on everything. We had to wait on shipping. We had to wait on this. We had to wait on that. If that doesn't motivate most Americans in this country, to the demand for manufacturing to be brought back to this country, I don't know what will. And that pandemic that we went through could have been a lot worse as well too. And we need supplies and everything else, and we don't have it, and this and that. People running out of yada yada yada. That right there should let you know that hey, we need to once again. Manufacturing should be the thing that America focuses on the most. I mean, when we're talking about the economy and this and that, whatever, the ability to manufacture in this country produces so many different jobs and everything else as well, too. So that should always be amongst the chief concerns of Americans. Let me go ahead and get to you, DJ, and then Black Pressure. We'll get back to you as well.
Yeah, let the family go ahead and speak. You know what it is. Shout out to Newstoter. Shout out to Newstoter. Make sure y'all get that subscription on newstoter.com/customer. Let's go. Go ahead, Pressure.
Hey, so I'm gonna say this. You are absolutely right. What you just said about manufacturing should return to America. But like I said earlier, you're talking about America and imperial capitalist country. Think about it. Say me, you, and Trouble show up to, Netco engineering, where they actually bake the computer chips that go on the motherboard, right? Well, me, you, and Trouble gonna tell them white folks, I need that $35 out, right? Well, big corporations go overseas, and they pay them people in New Delhi, India, $2.50 an hour to do the same job. That's why, like I say, you're right, but it'd probably be a war before they return manufacturing to America like that, though. But I reiterate, though, you are right. Get up and listen.
You ain't lying. I mean, I'm in agreement with what you're saying. I'm just saying that's one thing that you really, this election was really won off of the immigration battle. And, the economy is always up there. They're going to always, both sides are going to talk about the economy and how they can improve it and this and that or whatever. But you still have not seen the actual, the level of concern for manufacturing sector, the way you do these other abortion and immigration, other things in the nation as well too. So that has to be brought back up as well too. You got to start addressing that as well too, because it used to be a time in this country that a man, or I would say a man or a woman, but particularly a man. I mean, if we're going back and we're talking about a certain time during this country where a man may not be the most educated person in the world, but they could go ahead and they could get certain jobs or whatever, and they can work themselves up to almost the middle class, buy a home, this and that or whatever, put kids through college or whatever. The so-called American dream, so to speak. But that American dream is pretty much, it's pretty much washed. When you look at everything, the inflation and everything that's going on in this country, all that stuff is pretty much washed from here on out. It's going to take something spectacular to turn things around. So, and I want to get you guys, like I say too, the actual. Now, I know these are three main trading partners that the United States have, especially Mexico and Canada on this side of the world. But is Trump planning on doing any tariffs to any other nations as well too? Is he talking about putting tariffs on European nations as well? Is this just going to solely just be Canada, Mexico, and China? What about Europe? I know we trade with Europe as well too. So I mean, I'm interested to hear about that. What about Australia? Just I want to hear exactly if it's just going to be something in particular just for three nations or anybody. That we're importing anybody's goods coming to this country. Is everybody going to get taxed, or is it just going to be a particular group of people? But go ahead, DJ.
I know he was saying he wasn't going to do business with the European Union anymore.
No, he said he's not going to do business with the European Union. Okay.
He said he was going to quit messing with it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's saying that now, but we'll see. And somebody made that point too. Like Mexico did kind of folded. Like Mexico, the president, she was talking about putting the tariffs on the United States or whatever. Next thing you know, she came to the agreement of, hey, you know what? Let's hold off on these tariffs, and we're gonna not only that, we're gonna hold off on these tariffs, but we're gonna give you guys 10,000 National Guards to stand up there and patrol the border as well too. So yeah, but go ahead, DJ, you got it.
Yeah, everybody falls to the almighty America. You know what I'm saying? It's Babylon. Either you get down, hopefully you make the right choice. Why to put the canary in your mouth? And it's over with. Ain't nothing else left to say. You feel what I'm saying? You know what we do. You know what I'm saying? Blow it up. Hit the red button. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is to us, and I put some videos in the purple pill in the chat. Go get your tax ID. Start find a way to build some infrastructure. Last night we talking about these modular homes. You could just order a home from Amazon for like $40,000. You know what I'm saying? So if the property lot costs $50,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is, because you could get an acre a lot or a lot of property for $5,000 to $10,000.
You can buy some of these tiny homes for like $9,000 and stuff.
Yeah, there you go. So you get one of these dope little modular homes I done seen for $40,000 that look like a 2-story apartment. Well, hey, there you go, right there. That's under $100,000 for a crib at this point. You know what I'm saying? And it's more durable than some of the old school way of building a house with a multiple bricks, straight galvanized steel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's gonna be hard to destroy. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, go get your tax ID. Let's start selling this product, because at the end of the day, we can complain about what Trump doing with the tariffs, or we can start trying to get some of that money. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what's up, trouble? I ain't in trouble, and my sister. So my tag, CCP, we back.
I said we got my girl Trouble up here, so let me go ahead and get to my girl Trouble real quick.
Hey, Newstoter. Shout out to the Black family in the cut.
What's up, Trouble?
Not a whole lot. I heard you talking about the European Union, so I just pulled something up that said that President Trump has hinted that the European Union could be next to be faced with tariffs. He said they don't take our cars, they don't take our farm products, they take almost nothing, and we take everything from them. Millions of cars, tremendous amount of food and farm products, he told journalists. So I think maybe that might be a little bit of bluster, just, because sometimes Trump say things just for people to get in line, and a lot of people be crawling up his behind as soon as he say something, so that was that. So, yeah, and that's all I came to add to it. Otherwise, I'm gonna sit back and listen to the conversation. Appreciate it.
Trouble, real quick before you sit back, I want to ask you this question here: Are you at least bit concerned about the potential rise in inflation if these tariffs, let's say that Mexico and Canada hit back the U.S. with tariffs as well too? Are you even, let's say if China even says, you know what, we're gonna impose a 10% on you guys as well too? Are you a little bit leery of what it might be like to go shopping and how that grocery bill and utility bill and all this other stuff may go up even more so?
I mean, yeah, but yes and no. Yes, because you never want prices to go up when you're already, trying to make ends meet with the way the prices are now. And as you mentioned earlier, since COVID, the prices had, kind of rapidly changed. I'm a mother of 4. And even though 2 of my sons are in college, I still buy their groceries. And so me traveling out of town about an hour and a half to get to them, that's gas, that costs. The groceries, they cost. My boys love to eat. My boys are comp diesel. They're not a piece of paper. There's nothing lightweight about any of them. I think my youngest son, he wears a size 40-42. So that lets you know right there that these aren't no piece of papers running around here. They eat good. So when I go to the grocery store and I'm spending $6.29 for 12 eggs, that's irritating to me. I'm used to they love banana pudding, so I'm used to buying two boxes of the Nabisco, the good vanilla wafers, $2 to $5, and now they're $5.
Go to Aldi.
Child, look, I ain't got time to be going all the way to nobody's Aldi's, and I gotta bag my own groceries and bring my own bags. But you pay for convenience. So I'm a little bit concerned.
Jefferson sister reparation.
DJ, I'm a CCPU, but so I'm concerned with it. But at the same time, I'm also mindful of who it is we're dealing with, and so it's expected. It's expected for them to come into the government and make all the changes that they're making. There's going to be some that are going to be good, and there's some that's going to be bad, and I just think that I'm tired of complaining and worrying about what's getting ready to happen and the prices that things are. I'm just going to have to make my adjustments. Instead of making a big giant pan of banana pudding, I'm going to have to make a smaller pan of banana pudding. Instead of making it, once a month, y'all going to have to get it, every once in a while, and y'all going to have to go to the store and buy the ingredients for mama and let mama rest on her funds. So changes are going to have to be made. As a black family, as a black community, we are used to crackers crackering the way that these crackers are crackering right now.
That's my word.
So we just got to make the adjustments for these 4 years and see how it flows. I'm always concerned with prices. We're always concerned. When I got to dip into my savings and start spending on things that I wouldn't ordinarily have to dip in my savings to spend for, it's concerning. But, I'm just here, and I'm just tired of complaining and looking at things. I'm tired of feeling worried, So I think right now I'm just kind of at ease because it is what it is. At the end of the day, what that girl say, at the end of the day got to end. So it is what it is. We just roll with the punches, and we're gonna be all right. Alain.
Thank you, Ms. Trouble. And I'm trying to figure this one here out. Now, Mexico is one of the U.S. big trade partners. And I'm just trying to figure if Mexico was trading with the United States to the level that they're supposed to be trading with them, and that means they're getting money and everything else like that as well, too. Like, why are so many of their people so anxious to leave the country? If you're trading with the United States like that, then why are you guys, hightailing it from over there? You would think that, hey, things should be going pretty well over there and everything else as well, too. And not only this, I want to also add this as well, too. The United States is talking about perhaps, I don't know if that's going to change with Trump now getting the people at the border from Mexico or whatever, the 10,000, National Guard or whatever to come to that and patrol and try to stop illegal migrants from coming over, whatever. But Is Mexico even within? Is Mexico even able to put a tariff on the United States? I mean, what percent would they put? Are they can they financially put a 10 or 15, 25% tariff on the United States?
No.
Yeah, I don't even.
Truthfully, they can't, bro. They can't total. They ain't got that kind of power or that kind of economics the way we have ours. So no, they can't do that. They might want to try it. They might want to try it, but it would never work. So
yeah, I mean, because y'all find if y'all get a chance, see what $1 is worth. What $1 is for the pesos or whatever. See what the equivalent of $1 in the pesos. Because I know at one time $1 got you a whole lot of pesos. So if y'all get a chance,
that's why I told them. That's why if you notice what you just said, the president of Mexico went back and changed their mind about those tariffs. Because guess what? Them pesos don't do shit. Excuse my French. To us up here. That's why they come up here, Total. That's why they come up here, because they get that money, and this money here is going to be a lot more down there. So they can't touch us up here. That's why they keep wanting to run across that border, come here. But hopefully we can get them all up out of here. Oh, by the way, that was a rap, y'all. I was trying to rap a little bit. I don't know if y'all caught that.
let me go ahead real quick. Let me go ahead. I said we got Mark up here. We got new speakers. So let me get Mark up here. Mark, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, look. The majority of products are owned by the United States of America. So tons of countries cannot afford to get smart with America. Talk back. We're talking upwards of 20, 30% of their GDP depends on America. Man, bro, these people are bluffing. And plus, America can wage a real war against these countries for funneling all these drugs into America, right? But just go back to the part. I said this when Trump was running way back a couple of years ago. Man, these people just talking, bro. Who are they gonna sell all this? Nobody buys as much resources as that. So they all would bow. I'm trying to figure out. Huh? Say again?
No, he was just saying. So go ahead. You got it, Mark.
I can't hear him.
No, he just. I think he was just making a joke. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time, maybe it was probably maybe 10 years ago, the United Nations said to America that we use 25% of the world resources. That means that they have to get up with us. Who are they gonna sell this stuff to? Who is Canada gonna sell their products to? That's gonna buy on the level that America.
And they only got like 40-some million people in that damn ice box.
You know what I mean? What are you gonna go? You gonna try to find people who are willing to buy? It's not gonna happen. They may as well become another state. It's just like Trump just says. Come on now. Come on. You can't stand on your own 2 feet. You won't survive without America.
So, Mark, let me ask you a question. You feel like, you feel like Trump was just doing this as a power move, and now that pretty much everybody now they're coming to terms with it, because, like I say, the Mexican president, she went ahead and she pretty much got herself straightened out. And then I saw you posted something as well too. Now the Canadian, the Prime Minister of Canada, he's talking about sending troops at the border as well too.
Why not make the moves, the power moves? But the bigger question is why we're not seeing it as an opportunity benefit from the moves that Trump's making. I don't care if he's racist. First of all, he's not a racist. But even if he was, I wouldn't care. If we can benefit from it, I mean, what you going to stop him from being racist? You going to talk him out of it? No. Politics is about who gets what, when, where, and how. And so we get the what, the when, the where, and the how from him being in office. Why not? It's no different than most people get up every morning and go work for, work with, or do business with racists. Why be selective with your politics? You're not selective with how you make money. You know what I mean? So, bro, get in on it. And the rest that don't get it, hey, bro, let them starve. Who cares? So they figure it out. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's benefit from this. I'm not emotional about the racism. Men should get emotional about another man being racist.
All right. Real talk. Appreciate that, Mark. Let me go ahead and get back to pressure. Pressure, go ahead. You got it. Like I say, for those that can't support, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We definitely need that support, guys. Go ahead, Pressure. You got it.
Hey, it would also too. I know I'm a cheat code because I live in Texas, but it would also benefit everyone to befriend some illegal Mexicans because now the guy I work with at the refinery I work at, he's a supervisor in structural, so he has a background in computer drafting. I was talking to him a few months ago, and I was saying, I wanted to build a house, and he was like, "You got somebody to do the blueprints?" And I kind of showed him on my phone some rough blueprints, and he said, "Man, that's what I do on the side." He told me, he said, "If you want to do it." Now, he's not illegal, but all the guys that work for him are. He said, if you want to do it, he said, I will pour your concrete slab and I'll frame your house for $40,000. Straight cash. Straight up like that. So,
okay. Say that again. Say that one more. He'll do for how much now? Say that again.
Mexicans, and you could cut some corners on a lot of stuff.
How much he said he would do that again for Pressure? Say that again. That amount?
40,000.
Damn.
Concrete slab and frame. Now, he told me, this is before all the deportations was in the summertime. And he said, I'm helping out some guys that, just came across the border. He said, I paid them in cash. But he said, I'll pour your slab and frame your house for $40,000 straight up. So, yeah, you can, man, befriend some illegals because a lot of them have backgrounds, in that craft. Construction. A lot of them, they really good at that stuff. So just, word to the family on that one.
All right. Shout out. Yeah. I mean, that $40, $40,000 to do all of that, man. That's a steal right there.
That's a steal, but unfortunately, that's why we got to get them deported, man. That's exactly why we trying to deport, bro. Because they take it from Black Americans. So that's part of the problem right there. But you're right, that's a steal now.
Well, I think Precious say let him get his house done. First, and then you go ahead and.
What's crazy about it is I didn't know this till a few months later. They got a guy that's a supervisor at the same job. This white dude, he did his house 40 racks. Dude, he told me about it. Gave him $40,000, concrete slab and frame.
Oh yeah. Send Eduardo this way too.
The downside is that people don't understand code, and so you won't find out.
Right there, Mark.
You know what I'm saying? You won't find out that they missed a couple steps until a guy found out who was building a 3-unit building close in the area. And I don't think that I'm just talking to be talking. That entire frame fell to the ground with a strong wind, right? And I know a guy's electrician. It just so happened he went to check to see have they taken the electrical, the lights that were the original lights down, and they hadn't, and put the ceiling up and connected those old lights to the new can lights, and literally almost burned the building down. So trying to save a couple of dollars can cost you a lifetime of pain. Can bankrupt you. So you gotta be careful. All this talk and trying to be cheap. cost you more, then just go ahead and find some Americans that understand code. So I think you need to pay attention to that.
Hey, I mean, what you're saying too is real as well too, Mark. I'm just saying, but I mean, I don't know if you own a home or not. I'm sure you probably do or whatever. But just that price that he was talking about, that a lot of people, when you hear that, automatically your antennas go up, and you like, well, damn, like you can't beat that. But you're right about that too. You mess around, and especially if it's somebody who's not, certified, anything like that. I mean, then there's no recorder to go ahead and get your money back as well too. So you have to think about that as well too. So I mean, you're making a good point there. But I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, but when you do that, the guy I'm talking about, when you do that, you build anything, construction, you do your retail or commercial, you have to go to the city and pull permits, and they come out and make sure everything is fair. Now, like I said, his guys are illegal, but he's not. He's actually certified in it. Like I said, you got it.
Right. Because a lot of the insurance companies, they won't. You can't get it covered.
You got a certain time. You do. You're right. You have a certain time to get it covered when you do it like that.
Absolutely, and depending on what company you're dealing with, if you're dealing with somebody like State Farm, something like that, right? They're gonna give you hell, right? If you're retired military or something like that, you're dealing with somebody like USAA, they're gonna give you hell. Like, it's a tedious process, because when them inspectors come out and that shit ain't right, you're gonna come out of pocket. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, hey, tell you some real shit.
language, y'all, language. But go ahead.
Yeah, my bad, but yeah, Mark was right.
See, first off, most of these guys can't even read prints. And so if they can't read prints and you cut corners for that $40,000, the next move question, you're going to pay them building inspectors, right? You got to get that building inspector some money in cash, right?
Yeah, worst case scenario, I wouldn't let him do that. But yeah, like I say, you're right. But the guy that I'm talking about, the guy I work with, that's his craft. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I lent him an ear. That's actually his craft.
So now he's got to stand over these guys, make sure they did it right.
Pretty much.
So there's a whole lot that goes with what you're saying here. And when you look at the guys on that code, you have to stand over them. Now you can't go to the next job site, or you have to come watch this. You really gonna be out of more than $40,000. Because you have to stand there and oversee them, which means you can't move to the next project. Then you have to, and then standing over them means that you have to tell them where this goes, that goes, based on code. And most of them can't speak English, so it's just too much. I rather just pay some black folks that been to the trades. I may not pay you full union scale, but I'm gonna get close as I can, right? Because I know it's gonna be done right and on time. See, I know a lot of people that went that route, and their back porches look like slide boards. Shit, excuse me, look like slide boards. So it sounds good, but there's downsides. And as a matter of fact, there's a whole lot of downsides when it comes to those inspectors got to come in, and they making you take it all down because the code wasn't, fully followed. So, hey, it ain't simple as you make it, because when it would have been 80,000, if you spend 40, you might have to spend another 10 on that building inspector, because he's not going to pass it because those guys didn't understand code.
Good points made out there as well too.
Hey, I just want to say, Google Mexican infrastructure falling. That's all I'm gonna say, yo. Yeah, go to our brother Kodar. He, I believe, a structural engineer. So you can hire that young boy right there, probably for the same price. You know what I'm saying?
Who was that?
Brother Kodar, you know what I mean? I'll link you. I'll link you.
The dog can tell you what happened in Baltimore.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, our brother graduated college for that same type structural engineering. You know what I mean? Real talk. You know what I mean? And he in the black state too. And he in the black state. So shout out to that brother. Let's go. You know what I mean?
The truth be known family. The problem is some of our own Black American family will believe that these Mexicans can do better work than their own people.
Hey, Professor.
That's get phony fucking shit. I'm sorry.
Hey, language professor, come on now.
Is this the structural engineer that's speaking? No. This professor, man. But what I'm saying is, a lot of our family really do believe that these Mexicans are hard workers and that they do better work than their own people. We got to get out of that belief, y'all. They do cheap work. Now let's just keep it real. They don't do better quality work. They do cheap labor work, and that's why people want to hire them. So they undercutting Americans right here in our own land of the work that we supposed to be doing, okay? These folks need to go back to their own country. Go back to your country and build over there. And whatever breaks down over there, or the wind come through and blow it over, then blow it over in Mexico or wherever. We don't really need you over here. I want everybody to understand you need to believe in your own people, what your own people can do. So hire your own people to do this work. Now, I know we feel like we can get some work done for cheaper, and we think that's great. But Mark just told y'all, you get this cheap work done, look what can happen to you. And I have seen it happen where people have hired these Mexicans to do work, and the work still ends up being nothing but a disaster because everybody was looking for cheap labor to come in and do work. No, one of
the last things you want to do is ever get anything built and can't get it insured, especially if you live in anywhere where it's flood zones or high winds. The last thing you want to do is get something built and can't get it insured. That's the last thing you want to do.
Amen, y'all. We got to believe in what our own people can do. And look, I'm not saying that all Mexicans can't do the work. Now, we know there's some people out here that have the capabilities to do the work. But I think the problem is I have noticed
white boys too. With some white boys out here, that's nice work.
Exactly. It's people out here that can do this work in all nationalities, right? But here's the thing. We hear too much of this about when Mexicans work hard and they do this and they can do that. I'm sorry, Toad, but I'm gonna.
All right. We got Original with his hand up as well too. Let me go ahead and get to Original. But you're right, Professor. I hear it all the time too. Even with the produce, picking the produce, I'm picking the fruits and vegetables up out of the fields and stuff. I hear from my own family talk about, you ain't gonna get no native born American to go out there and do that for this. I said, yeah, because y'all want to pay them like a sharecropper. That's why. That's why you're not gonna get a native born American that want to go out there, black, white, or whatever, to go out there in 100 degrees and sit up there for 8 hours a day and picking tomatoes and grapes or whatever you picking, and you making barely $50 a day or something like that. Like, nobody wants to go out there for that. I mean, you're talking about work that could potentially kill you from a heat stroke and stuff like that. Like, yeah, man, them days are over with. Yeah, people go out there, they want to get paid.
How much did you offer to pay them? Oh, it changed the whole conversation.
Yeah, people want to pay you. People want to pay you what they think you deserve, and that's the problem right there. They want to pay you what they think you what they think you deserve to be paid. And I mean, and you're not gonna get people to go out there for that. I mean, black people, I'm sorry, and I tell this, and I tell it to the same people in my family as well too. I say, listen, we already worked for free one time in this country. And then after working for free, we worked again as sharecroppers, basically working for free again, tied to a damn land. You couldn't leave the city, you couldn't leave the state, you couldn't leave the county, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. If you left, they was gonna throw you in jail, they was gonna do this, they was gonna do that. All kind of shady crap going on. They take the husband, they throw him in jail. They tell the wife, if you want to get your husband out, you got to go and sleep with me to get him out. Oh, I mean, just crazy stuff that went on during them days. If people want to sit up here and act like you should go out there and get paid $4.25 an hour to go out there and pick this stuff right there, I'm sorry, nobody's going for that. Let me go ahead and get to original, and then I'm gonna get to black majority state.
Yeah, I just want to say what they were saying about these illegal construction crews is real. It's been some years ago. It was 2 of them happened within the same year or whatever. You know, some of them within 6 months apart. But here in Atlanta, there was a parking deck over there on between 5th and I think it was Spring Street. The deck collapsed. There was sections of the thing it collapsed, and all you saw on that crew was these, I would say, illegal, these Spanish-looking people, and somehow part of that deck collapsed. There was some scaffolding that was built up over like an overpass on Interstate 85. It collapsed onto the interstate, whereby had it been like doing rush hour something, somebody could have been killed. Then we have this a botanical garden over off of Piedmont, and they were building this canopy walk that collapsed. And so, and what was interesting is that this lady that used to be on the radio, I called when they was talking about it. I called and I said, yeah, I said, I blame them. She said, well, you can't just blame. I said, yes, I can. I said, they're doing the work, because when black folks were doing the work, stuff really wasn't collapsing like that. I mean, you had like 3 things within a short period of time that collapsed. And I got to find this article because, see, there was a chicken processing plant here in Georgia, whereby they had hired all these illegal aliens, and they hired them, and they got rid of all the black folks. So the black folks banded together. They called ICE on their bus, and then ICE came in here. And this happened like back in 2007. ICE came in and down there like in like Savannah area, like Thomasville area. It's somewhere down there. It within South Georgia somewhere. Yeah, it within South Georgia. And so yeah, so they called ICE. ICE came in and conducted a raid, and so they ended up coming back to the black community. I think they said they interviewed like 400 people. They hired 200 of them, and they told them, we are not coming back at those wages. See, they was reducing the black folks' wages and stuff like that. Just like even in like South Georgia, Northern Florida, they were they was bringing these illegal aliens over here. See, they claim nobody wants to do this work. That's not true. As has been said, not at those wages. See, black people have been picking these fruits and vegetables in South Georgia, Northern Florida for years. But they was bringing the illegal aliens in. They were paying them more than they were paying the black folks.
But see, you know what a lot of that had to do, I know exactly what you're talking about. But a lot of that had to do with because they were hiring those workers, and they wasn't giving them the hours. So that made them in turn not have to give them healthcare benefits. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. One of the Purdue plants down there next to Jackson. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was one down in, was it Dresden or something like that, you know, yeah. But that's what they was doing, and so they do that, and they've been doing it to black folks for a long time. So, like I said, these illegal aliens, I have to find something better than them in our land.
Yeah, that's why they hire so many people and just give them that right under that threshold of 40 hours, because when they do that,
they don't have to necessarily give you healthcare benefits, right? And that's what our people need to be aware of. If they're not giving you your 40 hours weekly, don't work there because they know that they don't have to pay you, or if you get into their health benefit program, you're working.
That sure was the 40 though. It's been that way for like a decade.
Not in the South. They trying to make it like that. But yeah, that's not a national thing yet. But yeah, I mean, you're right these days. Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's not a national thing. That just happens in some areas. So what that brother was specifically speaking to is that's why they were hiring so many people, right? Because they had the workforce was so big to where it's though, okay, they'll put you on, you know, and you working 30 hours, 32 hours, 36 hours. But guess what? By federal law, if you're not touching that 40, they don't have to give you your health care benefits that the senior people that's been working there, they already had, right? So that's what a lot of the argument is about. You know what I mean? Healthcare benefits, 401ks, shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Let me go ahead and get to.
Hey, wait a minute, Total. I got some ad. Man, it's late. How that talking, man? Is that man?
You said, is that who?
That's his neighbor, man. I didn't even know that was late. He sounds so different, man. Like, he don't sound like him.
No. That's not it.
Yeah, sometimes like goddamn. Yeah, but yeah, I know what I'm talking about though.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Black Majority State.
Okay, I appreciate it. So I know China's not in the title, but you guys brought that up a little bit. I think I was watching a video where they said in the late 60s, China was essentially headed for like economic ruin, and it was only when the United States started trading with them and started building factories and everything over there.
That's what I said. The U.S. is the one that rose them up. Yeah, but go ahead, Black.
Yeah, no doubt. Without that, they would likely still be at the bottom of everything. So these are just miscalculations, I guess, and whatever they were attempting to do. White liberal feminism under Bill Clinton, I think it was Black Pressure that mentioned NAFTA, but Biden also authorized something called DNA, which is the Declaration of North America, another white feminist liberal policy, while he was in office, which was essentially NAFTA 2.0, to bring these three countries together. I know in trucking, there's something called CAN-AMEX, and I want to say it's I-69, which is this interstate route that's supposed to go from Mexico through the United States up to Canada. And that new bridge that the brother from Detroit was talking about may have something to do with that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but essentially the plan has always been to connect these three countries, create some type of system where their citizens can kind of travel through without any real deterrence and travel back and forth freely, right? The liberals do it through systems, programs, etc. Trump and the conservatives may want to do it through brute force, but at the end of all of it, it's essentially the same. It's just a different way of accomplishing the same goal. And so sometimes we kind of get caught up in the optics of how they're accomplishing the same goal. They're doing things in different ways, but the end result is likely to be the same. Maybe with the Democrats, they don't have as much of a power position as they would under Trump, where they have a more dominant power position because that seems to be their energy. But that's essentially what it is. And to Brother Black Pressure's point about working with the locals, the majority citizens in the state that he lives in, which is the state of Texas. And yes, Mexicans are the majority population in the state of Texas. I looked at the school. They are 52% of the school district, and no other demographic is close. So if someone's living in a majority Mexican state and they're saying the Mexicans are building, it's likely that the Mexicans are the building inspectors, and the Mexicans are in control of a lot of the infrastructure down there anyway. And at some point, you might not be able to get a building built without going through the Mexicans, because they control the state. At some point, that's the most logical steps that it looks like it's going to be in for those border states. So I got folks, most of my family outside of, other areas that we've lived in have all seemingly migrated to Texas for some strange reason. But, if it is what it is, it is what it is. If you were in Minnesota, you might have to work with the Somalis. I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out because we don't seem to want to move to get in that position to where we operating with Americans. We're operating with Black Americans because we are the majority citizens in that area and that state, and we control how the construction systems work within the state. But that's all I wanted to say.
All right, appreciate that, Black. Thank you. We're not gonna keep it going too much longer. Those that want to speak on, come on up here, get it in while you can. Go ahead, DJ.
So everybody right, for the most part, take it. But I'll take to it on the black pressure tip. And what Professor said, hey, I argue with my old heads every day, man. Why do y'all give these Hispanic, Latinos, and other immigrants so much props about how they better? Like, and not to say that's what you were saying about pressure, but to hire them because the labor is cheap. But it's like that, you take it away from the youth. You know what I'm saying? Grandkids,
Mine is I work with.
I'm just saying, man. This is like a long-standing conversation. Actually, this is why I'm telling us we need to have that old head space or the parent space or whatever it is. Because some of our folks don't seem to understand that. Like, if you go mess with them, then you just took the money out of the black neighborhood and stuff, or whatever's left of that. I know a bunch of, like you said, and it's also where you at. So, like up here in Jersey, I know a bunch of folks that do construction, you know what I'm saying? Black folks, man, they've been ostracized for so many positions because the others, the other gang, they ain't control, like Black State said, bro. So it's like, we ain't got no wins in the casa, so it's like, what are we supposed to do next? And then if, the elders of us only seem to imply like, hey, I'm just going to get this Mexican guy or whatever to do X, Y, Z, and it's going to be done, and I'm cutting corners or whatever the case be, and just getting it done. But like that, did you at least ask a Negro first just to see if you could make the same $30 till that Negro might have needed that $30? You know what I'm saying?
Actually, a black dude is
That's what's up. Okay, you got to find out. Okay, so hold up. That same actor don't know no construction, black construction group. They can later.
He owns a construction.
Hey, DJ got to mute. Somebody got to mute their mic when. Yeah, whenever DJ's talking, mute your mic, DJ. Whenever DJ's talking tonight or whatever, and somebody's talking with him like that, you're getting that loud, echoey sound or whatever. So if DJ, if they start talking, you have to mute your mic because you're getting that loud feedback, that echo sound.
I went to the brother that did my blueprints owns a construction company. I knew his brother from school. So I went to him and he, was talking about all the prices. But the Mexican dude, that was just happenstance because we worked together and we just started talking and he told me that's what he did. But no, I went to a black person first.
That's what's up. Let me see. Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry. Who's talking?
It's original. Yeah, I'm just going to say this because some black people, they will look at you sideways because I know someone who they work at Georgia Tech. They work in HVAC. So I was telling this other person who was having a problem with their air conditioner in the summer. Well, how do I know that he's this? And I said, I never mind. This brother, he's certified. He work at Georgia Tech, but then he is somebody because he would. If I call him, if he can't get to me, he calls another brother, and they would come over and take care. And they trying to get something for cheap. They come over and do what they got to do. I pay them. It's cash, straight cash going into their pocket. I'm happy. They're happy. But I was trying to hook this other person up, telling them that these brothers, because he was, and this brother was telling me too, because I gotta have my driveway report. And he would tell me, oh man, I know. He said, the other brother, that's what he does over there at Georgia Tech too. I said, really? I said, okay, well, we'll have to hook this up. And that's how I think that we have to return to that, because there are quite a number of black men out there that are phenomenal in what they do. But it's unfortunate that some people, it's like this person I know, they started questioning if this guy could if he could really work on the air conditioning, because see, he told a relative of his, he said, do not buy that Linux unit. It's a piece of garbage. So he goes out here and buys the Linux unit. And so then it breaks down on him and he calls him. He said, I'm not touching that. I told you, you didn't want to listen to me. He said, I told you not to buy that piece of crap. But you went out there and bought it anyway, trying to save some money. So now you're going to have to deal with that yourself. So yeah, there are brothers out there. They are phenomenal. They're good at what they do. And they can, and they're not really that expensive. They just charging you what they feel like they should charge you, and everybody's happy. And I'll land. Go ahead, DJ.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, I was gonna say I see Mark was back up here, but go ahead, DJ, and we'll get to Mark.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Mark. You got it. Let the family talk.
You know, it's a shame that what Trump is doing has to be done in order to get some of our people to work with one another. And so that's why I'm pushing and promoting mass deportations, so that it will force our people to hire their own. I hope that he deports so many people that you resist with your company to the point to where you go out of business. Since you want to hire Mexicans and everybody else before you hire your people, you should go out of business. You should be put out of business. And that's what a lot of these corporations are crying about. The cheap labor, and then putting these immigrants before Americans. And Trump is saying to them, hey, well, you better deal with it. You're going to downsize. You're going to hire Americans. You're going to hire formerly incarcerated people. You're going to hire those you've been discriminating against. Because there's a workforce in America, y'all. There's a discrimination problem against certain sectors of people. And so those that would rather hire immigrants from other countries or hire immigrants before they hire black people, y'all work to make sure y'all put them out of business. Man. Put ice on their companies when y'all catch them doing it. I'm talking about these black companies and these white companies. When y'all catch them doing this stuff, put ice on their companies and try to put them out of business. Because at the end of the day, when you take those opportunities from young black children, you're going to deal with them one way or the other. You put them to work, they're going to rob. For every action, there's a reaction. And so, what better person can be in the White House right now? And then, I don't have a problem with meeting with these racist white boys. They're the only ones I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to none of others. I mean, they're too corporate. They're too polished. I'm talking to these Klan members. I'm talking to these Klan members who believe in preserving America for Americans, and let them know on y'all side of the tracks, hey, y'all make moves against them on our side of the tracks, we do the same. I'm not emotional about them being racist. As a matter of fact, and I end with this, if you think that this quote-unquote white supremacy that you speak of is your big problem, then you haven't got the memo. You haven't come up to speed. So since you're going to use white supremacy, you better pay attention to this immigrant supremacy. Because they come in to take over. You let them in, and they get the numbers up, they're going to take your opportunity. They're going to do away with you. And so it takes for us and people like Trump to force these companies to use Americans. Use Americans or go out of business, plain and simple.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. DJ, go ahead. You got it.
Hey, Black Steak out of saying, no, go ahead.
No, I ain't see Black. Go ahead, Black. You got it.
No, I wanted to say, so the plan is to use European immigrants, much of which are in the Trump administration, to block out whatever these more recent immigrants are, to do what for Black America? Because at the end of the day, no matter what they do, and this is just being very, very pragmatic about the conversation and being very honest about the conversation, no matter what either of these parties do at the federal level, very little of it, and I'm talking about crumbs off the floor, are going to actually benefit Black Americans on any scale, by any measure. And in fact, there's a lot of unintended consequences and collateral damage that Black Americans are already suffering, and this person hasn't even been in office for a month. So we could all say, get what you can get, do what you can do, and screw everybody else. And that may sound good on Twitter Spaces, I don't know. But in reality, if people were able to get in where they fit in, they would have already been fat in. They would already be in those positions. They'd already be getting contracts. They'd already be getting jobs. They'd already be building whatever it is that people say they're going to build now that this Roman emperor occupies the White House. But in fact, and the actual reality is people who are actually paying attention to what's actually happening, it looks like decimation for Black Americans who don't know how to get in where they fit in, who don't want to actually do anything that's going to actually benefit this president, his administration, and white males, because that is the whole intention of all of this energy. And there may be a few token Blacks that are able to benefit from it, because they always make sure there are a few token Blacks who benefit from it. But that doesn't mean that 99.9% of Black America is ever going to benefit from any of this carnage. And carnage is probably the best name for this individual.
Well, what are you suggesting then? Because, I mean, did we see the same similar thing during the Carter administration, during the Obama administration, during the Joe Biden and Kamala administration? So what would be your suggestion?
Yeah, my suggestion is to look at everything through a realistic lens and not try to romanticize or over-romanticize any of it. Look at it for what it is. There is no benefit here for 99% of Black America.
Okay, well, Mark speaks about this all the time. This is why we talk about the local politics. Because the only way to get into your money is to do local politics. The federal level, that's something completely different. But is at all three levels of government it works itself in a way to where as though the people that actually want to do can do. The people that want to complain can complain. It's always been like that. This shit ain't nothing new.
See, I think, bro. And I've listened to you speak a few times, bro. You worry about what white folks own too much. To hell with what they own. If you take over your politics and your economics and you hire your people, you don't have these problems. You know, the way you're speaking is from the angle of asking, well, what is Trump going to do for us? I'm not looking for Trump to do anything for us. We shouldn't be looking for Trump to do anything for us. In these Black majority cities, don't you understand we can be just as racist as they are, and they can't do nothing about it? Do you understand that, bro?
Black Mike.
If you're asking me a question as to whether I think we can
racist in these Black people, and there's nothing to do.
Yeah, because Baltimore City, I'll tell you right now, Baltimore City is segregated. It's racist as fuck. You got the.
Hey, y'all gotta watch your language. You gotta watch your language. Go ahead.
My bad. You got the Catholics on one side of town. You got the Irish over there. You got the Chinese over here. You got. It's always been like that. Have any of you ever been to one city and just asked to this king? Really been around it?
See, the part that we keep missing is racism is not just white in America. And then when you just focus on whiteness when it comes to racism, you miss the black races. And somebody told y'all from a long time ago that black people don't have the power in 2025 in America. That's not true. And the black people who do have the power hate the rest of us. And by them hating the rest of us, they go out of their way to hire everybody and do business with everybody but themselves. Those people need to be rooted out, along with any other race of people who are trying to undermine us. So I'm asking the question to you. Well, I'm not going to ask you a question. Do you understand that when you take over your politics of your local city, county, and your state, when you take over those politics, you dictate who gets the contracts and jobs and education resources. Check the Mexicans out over in California. They're not worried about no white supremacists. They say, oh, this is where y'all operate. Okay, well, we're going to be immigrant supremacists. We're going to relax these rules and these laws to accommodate our people. You know what our people do? They get their black Greek ass in position and want to put 10 more steps on top of the steps that already exist. That's where our problem is supposed to be coming from. If we would be intentional when it comes to our people, no different than every other group of us, we wouldn't be having these problems. The different type of whites got their sides of town. Take care of your side of town. Stop worrying about what they're doing. Spend your money with your people first. That's your solution right there. Spending your money and building your areas up like our great-great-grandparents did during the days of Tulsa. They didn't worry about no white folks. They were busy building things up. And they did it for 60 years outside of slavery until the Italians and Irish started coming in here. Them Ku Klux Klans weren't burning no towns down like the Irish and the Italians did. Because if they weren't, there's no way that those towns would have stood 50 and 60 years. It was when the Jews brought them Irish and Italians in here that these things happened. But that's back in the day. Right now, man, stop worrying about what them white folks doing. I don't care what kind of white they are. Take care of your business. Build up your communities. Hire your people. And when somebody comes to get in your business, you go to war with them. It's just like being in the game. It's like being in the dope game or in a gang. You know, hey, man, mind your business until it's wartime.
All right. I see we got a Pia up here. Pia, did you want to say something?
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Pia?
Yes, sir. It's so hard for me to say that for the very first time I have to agree with Mark Carter just for a little bit of what he said about, just like how Tulsa was built up by, the Black Wall Street, right? The Black Wall Street came up as a result of, black folks being denied of, the national cake. And they decided to come together. They built schools, built businesses, built banks, built hospitals, insurance companies, everything. They were thriving. They were even doing better than even the white folks.
and out of jealousy they took them out, right? So clearly shows that black folks, when given the chance, can do whatever they want to do for themselves and can be extremely successful, more than white folks, right? But fast forward, I believe that is still the future. Unlike, whatever others may say. In my opinion, black folks just need to just, pick that blueprints that once upon a time that worked and do it even way better. Okay? I don't believe in assimilation, to be honest. I don't believe in that. Now, looking at it, the United States economy, right? Highly driven by one tech, insurance, health, transportation, etc. Now, if you look at the tech industry, right, it's dominated by immigrants, right? You go to Google and it's all Asians, largely, right? The health industry, also to a very large degree dominated by Asians, i.e., the Philippines, the whatever. Construction industry, highly dominated by this South Americans, Hispanics, just name them, blah blah blah. It is very hard to find a strong sector of the United States economy that you can say this is highly dominated or run by the black folks, right? This is me being very honest. Now, therefore, what it basically means is this, right? There has to be a concerted effort by the black community to look at certain areas and invest heavily in, i.e., the new kids coming up, right? I mean, someone like my Carter, he's almost retired, right? The black community don't need him that much. The 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, those little kids coming up, that in the next 10 years, you believe that these guys can be the next tech giants, right? At the place, the ones that I believe that black folks got to focus more on. The rest of them, I don't think that it is really, that important, especially when you know that in terms of the numbers, right? I'm not talking about in terms of ethnicity. I'm talking in terms of white folks. I believe that if you are either white or black, like nothing in between, right? And people choose to be white. If they're not black, everybody tries to be white. So I always look at folks that don't want to be black to be white folks. So they are more in numbers. You get it? So you can't think that you can build with folks that are seeking their own interest. If you come to California, I'll tell you.
You Africans is called white papaya?
No.
What are you talking about?
Hey, hold on. Let him finish up real quick.
Let me give you some experience, right? They bring in, black folks from Africa, right? They have this brain drain thing that they do. They bring them here and then they dump them in white communities. You should know how they struggle. Somebody that has never lived in a white community, you bring him here, you dump him in a white community. You think that person is happy? He will never be happy. The food, the people, you can't even know what they think, the mindset. It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of work. But some of you guys think that it's something that everybody's excited about. We're not excited about. All I'm saying is it will take the black community to build the black world. This nation are nations within the nation, and the black nation is one of the nations that are in this nation. So the black nation needs to look out for the black nation. That's all I'm saying. And I yield the mic.
The Black American nation need to look out for the Black American nation, and then Africans from the other diaspora need to be deported. So that's what we're going to shoot for deport.
Listen. Coming after Africans is the wrong move. Don't try. You're not going to win.
Whatever, man.
Oh boy. Let me mute it 1 second. Because I know everybody. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to respond because I know they want to respond to this. But okay, put your hands up. Who wants to respond to what Apaya just said real quick, so we can keep it in order because we ain't gonna go much longer. But I got Professor hand up, DJ's hand up. So if you up in the speaker section, you want to respond to this, Black majority states hand up. So I will go by the order. I'm gonna let Professor, DJ, and Black majority state go.
Okay, so Apaya, let me say this to you. Now you're coming in here accusing him
giving Black Americans advice on what our community should do. Talking about the Black nation, Black nation. Dude, you one of the people that we want out of the nation. Because you're trying to interfere. You're trying to interfere with what Black Americans are trying to do. And we need you, along with these Hispanics, to get on a boat or run across the border, whatever y'all have to do, and leave the nation. Okay? That's the whole thing right there. Leave the nation. You're sitting there talking about how you being dropped off in the white community, and that you really ain't happy about that. Y'all don't understand that we ain't happy about that. But tell you what, if you ain't happy about it, then get back on the boat and just start your way back over there. Back over to Nigeria and Congo and Ghana, wherever you from.
All y'all go to Negro land. Go to Negro land in the east and build that shit up.
Hey, hold on, King Armstrong. Let him finish up. Let Professor finish real quick. Go ahead, Professor.
King Armstrong, because that's going to be the next step I was going to tell you. You know, don't worry about what we do over here. We can take care of this over here. We trying to get all of you to understand that this is about Black America, okay? And you and these other folks keep coming around trying to bring about the business. You're trying to hop your way into our reparations movement. You're trying to do everything you can to disturb what we're trying to do. We want to keep you and the rest of these folks out of what we're trying to do. That's why we call it delineation. We want you to stay out of it. And don't come into spaces trying to give us advice on what our people should be doing. Okay? Now, I'm going to land right there because a lot of my brothers right here, they're going to chime in on this. I'm going to land right there. Black Majority, what's up, brother?
Go ahead, Black. You got it. King Armstrong, if you want to speak to, just raise your hand. I get to you. But go ahead, Black.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I wasn't sure if I was next. So, I say Africa for the Africans, and I'll leave that part there because I think that's what's most important in that conversation. But when we talk about, and this is where I think, again, over-romanticizing things. So Tulsa, Oklahoma, it was a part of Trail of Tears. It was part of a lot of things that were going on in Oklahoma, but the most important part was the discovery of oil in that general area. And the fact that they had wealth generation because there was this natural resource in the ground. So they could establish an enclave of, 5,000, 10,000 people, and they could circulate their dollars amongst each other. The problem with these enclave communities that are very segregated, because I think that's the word that was used or words to that effect, is that if you just spend that money around and around and around and around and around, what you do is you create funnels and pyramids. And so the people at the top, whoever that may be, they're still a part of the community, but the people, you start creating very wealthy people, and then you have people in the middle, and then you have people that kind of fill out the bottom. But you don't actually grow the pot of money. The only way you grow the pot of money is you bring in outside money. You have to be able to export and import, and you really need you need your exports to be higher than your imports. That's how you actually develop a community outside of having a natural resource like oil in the ground that's actually going to supplement and or support your wealth. And so,
hey, hold on, King Armstrong. Let him finish talking. Go ahead, Black.
What you find in America, in Cleveland, all these cities where they had black mayors in the 60s, 70s, some of the cities where the first black mayors were put into place, Detroit, etc. What you find is whenever there's an economic collapse, and that's always engineered, no new money comes into that city. No new money comes into that area. So no matter how much they circulate their money, they're not advancing because no new money's coming in. And so you can't. And so you cannot. Because we cannot overrule.
Hey, King, you can't cut the man off. King Armstrong, brother, please do not cut the speaker off. He's talking. Mark's got his hand up. You got your. Yeah, that's understood, brother, but you can't just cut somebody off. That's rude. Let him finish speaking. Go ahead, Black. I think it was a double mute, but it should be on now.
My bad. So you can't over romanticize what happened 100 years ago, because what ultimately killed Greenwood was the fact that they built a highway. They literally came in with whatever interstate that they used, like they did in all these other situations. Yes, they rebuilt. Yes, there was still oil wealth. I'm assuming, without doing a whole lot of research as to what happened after the massacre. But ultimately, it was the federal government and the state that came through that decimated this Greenwood district. So you're always in this battle with all these different forces, and to simply say, wherever you are in America, simply sit there and build there and circulate the money amongst yourselves over and over and over again without any.
Hey King, I'm asking you. You gotta stay on your mic. It may be a double mute. Hey, Black, can you hear us? Hey, Black, can you hear?
Okay. Just went off. Okay. So you can't simply circulate wealth in a community and expect not only all of the people to rise, because you're not bringing in any new income. What you can actually expect is that they're going to be wealthy elite created, because they own the stores, they own wherever people are going to spend their money, they own all of that. And oh, by the way, because you're not actually manufacturing anything in this segregated black community that you decided you're going to create, you have to buy everything else from the people who actually manufacture and make all of these things. And so you're still, even though you created this segregated community where you're circulating money, no new money's coming in, and you're still buying from those other people. You're just doing it in a different way. So you haven't really changed anything. You've just shuffled the chairs on the deck of the Titanic, because it's still ultimately going to go down. I mean, that's why I really wish people had a more fundamental understanding of how wealth is created in this country.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it, boy. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm done.
All right. I don't know, DJ, you must have dropped him down, but yeah. We're asking you, Keem Armstrong, and normally this is actually the best you've ever behaved in here. We're asking you to go ahead and let the people finish, but you cut the man off 3-4 times. I mean, come on, man. He's speaking. Mark, go ahead. I'm gonna let Mark go ahead and like I said, we're gonna be closing this thing out in a little bit here too. Mark, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So again, see, it's not about just circulating the existing dollar. Most corporations make the vast majority of their money from what? Government, right? Government don't just do business for white people. And if you control your politics, you control government. It means that you control the contractor who gets the flow of contracts. This is not the 40s or the 50s. And I think, man, sometimes you really don't pay attention that you were really stuck in time, bro. You stuck back in the 60s somewhere, bro. And it's not no disrespect to you, man, but I'm Mark, too young.
Mark, if you're gonna dispute the information. You ain't gotta make a personal attack against me. Just dispute the information.
You spit. I'm part of the old people, and so a lot of your rhetoric, I heard it before you heard it. And when we start getting away from all that old, do you realize the people that taught you some of this rhetoric that you coming with?
They ain't building nothing. They're not. All they doing is talking about black power, ungallery. They ain't building nothing. Ask them, what are they building? They're not building anything. I'm in a city where all the national leadership is, from the Nation of Islam to Operation Push to the Hebrew Israelites, the Moorish Americans, the AKAs, the Pan Africans. Guess what they all have in common? They ain't building nothing. All they do is talk, bro. They come with these good Easter speeches about the past and talking to be talking. They're not building anything. They're not contracting. And there's nobody blocking them from doing it. And if they are people who are blocking them, they're not doing anything about it. And I'm saying from experience. And when we start doing something about it, which it took us to have to come of age to get to this point. And when we start doing something about it, we see results now and right now time. The only time I'm worried about what some white folks doing is when they get in our business. If you get in our business, we're going to come see you. So whatever you made of, I mean, you don't have to show us. You know what I mean? So when the Italian mob said that y'all going to join the union, okay, well, where y'all office at? So we come join. They didn't know we was going to come like that. They didn't know we was going to come all in the back of trucks and all kind of shit. Where we join at? Where we join? Man, surround this motherfucking building. Surround this building. Where we join at? Because I know, y'all Hollywood gangsters. That's TV. Where we join? Who said we got to join? Which one of y'all saying we got to join? So we get down right here, right now. So this, bro, that's what I'm saying to you. Get focused on building, man. Get focused on building, because most of these people you've been listening to, bro, they're not building nothing. You ask them, well, how do I contract with government? They don't know, because they've been spending all these years spinning their wheels talking about the past. But they ain't building nothing, bro. Get focused on building Tulsas, some new Tulsas. And it's bigger than just that dollar circulating. The money is going to come from the outside. No different than it comes from the outside in every other community. All those other communities. How do you think Apple and Amazon, and you think those companies grew from the private sector? No. They grew and expanded from the public sector. Government spends more money than any person could ever spend. That's the outside money.
All right. Thank you. I guess we're going to get ready to cut this thing short here. I'm going to give everybody maybe 2 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to close it out. Apia, I'll let you say something real quick. I know Black Majority State wants to say something, but go ahead, Apia.
All right, I'll make it extremely quick. Mark, you got to understand this, right? That when you say that, get into the politics and then elect your local leaders, right? You can elect your local leaders. At the end of the day, they get bought, right? They buy them quickly by the corporations. Therefore, they start moving a different angle. That has been politics since day one. Politics is just an extension of capitalism. That's why it takes a lot of money to win power. That is one. Two, if you even, circulation of money within a community basically means that people get empowered, people have reserve to invest in other areas. So it brings expansion. That is what it's all about. It doesn't mean that people don't go out there to invest. What it means is your micro indicators are really stable enough that you don't need to spend so much to a point where you can't invest or you can't have some reserves or some savings. So that's the essence of, spending within your own community, build your own self, expand, then you're going to have more people coming in to get your product, and then you make more money. Basically, that's what it is. And the Tulsa establishments, they built banks and everything. It was not just oil, a matter of oil. It's a matter of brain power, hard work on the ground, building economic infrastructure, and they did it in real life. So it wasn't more about, just an oil thing. No. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that model is something that everybody adapts in the United States.
Thank you, Apia. We got it. Thank you, Apia. We gotta move on, because like I said, we're gonna close this thing out here in a second. Larry, I'll give you 2 minutes real quick.
Okay, I'll be real.
What are you talking about?
Can you hear me?
The people, right?
What? Who brought? Hey, don't bring him back up here. Hey.
Thanks for bringing me on. Look, I'll be real quick and simple. Look here. You guys, I want you to take a look at the Office of Homeland Security statistics. And I want you to take a look at the ICE statistics. How many, and it breaks it down by country, region, ethnicity. It gives you all that information. And look, first of all, I found something very interesting. Out of all Africans that are in the United States, from the year 2017 to 2019, only 2,400 were deported. 2017, 3,700 were deported in 2018. 3,421 were deported in 2019. So based on what I'm seeing there, let's fast forward to 2025. I don't think these statistics are going to change greatly. So I get what the brother's saying from Africa, but look, man, we trying to figure this thing out for us. And your experience here in the United States, and I'm not telling you something that you don't know or that the professor was echoing. Look here, we're trying to figure this thing out for ourselves. And your experience, you can't mirror the same experience that we would have. I'm down to a minute now, so I'm going to be real quick.
You're a little bit less than a minute, Larry. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds.
Okay, well, I'll be 20 seconds. Look, all I'm telling you, everybody that's on this space, and this is a great space, by the way, check out the facts. Look at what who they're deporting back to these countries that's coming into this country. I think you'll find some pretty interesting statistics. And I'll land there, but I want to go back up next time you have a space like this.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Larry. Let me go ahead and get to Black Majority State. Black, I give you 2 minutes. Mark, I see by giving you another quick second. I'm gonna see what's up, but go ahead, Black.
Okay, I appreciate it. So, number one, I am God educated. The information that I put out into the internet is divine information. I'm not a part of no organizations, nor would I ever be a part of an organization that I did not build myself. There are over 1,200 cities in America that have black mayors. 1,200 black majority cities in the United States of America. If what you say is true and they had full access that's not disrupted or interrupted to contracts, we would see at least half of those cities performing at the highest levels, and we do not, because there's something else going on. It's structural, and they can't overcome it. And then the last thing is on Tulsa, Oklahoma, and really Greenwood, which was just a small district in Tulsa. There were 50 cities in Oklahoma that were built that were segregated enclaves. Today, we're lucky if 10 of them still exist. That would have been the natural progression, because it is the natural progression, because we can actually study it, because it actually happened. And I'll end with that.
All right. Thank you, Black. Mark, I'll give you 2 quick minutes and maybe a minute and a half, and we're going to go ahead and close it out.
ones who are leading these cities are the wrong ones that you are elected. No different than we are. We've been elected. Now that we're older, we got way better sense than that. We not elected you just based on the fact that you told us that you're educated and you're a historian. And no. Do you love black people and can you work with other black people? Now we're not just electing you based on you, baby. You got good diction, good European diction. No. So the problem is not what you really seeing it as. No, the problem is you're electing the wrong people. The problem is, how do you take and elect a black Greek? Why you keep putting black Greeks with white mindsets over black people? Why you take a Mason who went to let's go to Prince Hall. Prince Hall went to white folks to ask him did he be himself. You can't elect nobody with no mindset like that, bro. You're looking for this white person when it's the mindset of those that you keep electing. You elect them for the wrong reason. Just because, or you say, I went to Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. Man, I know a monkey went to them schools, man. Real monkeys. And I say that because versus on Greek to black agenda. There's nobody in our way but them. Just like in the Chinese community or Indian community, who's gonna stop you? That's all.
All right, thank you, Mark. DJ, you want to say something? Give you a minute or so too, and then we're gonna close this thing out.
Yeah, we'll be continuing. Hopefully y'all can hear me, man. I got a phone call, so it's like I can barely hear y'all. But go ahead and close the show out. Good show as usual. We'll be continuing the conversation over on Funded Socially. So if y'all want to come over there, we'll be in the Newstoter community live on Funded Socially. Come on over, y'all. I'll see y'all in a bit. Download the Mighty Networks app. Sign back in the Funded Socially. Come in the Newstoter community. And we're going to be playing some live visuals for y'all, not just the audio. So shout out to the room, yo. And we do this Black State Information Mark. So if you want to come versus, come on up. We're going to chew you up, spit you out back to Chicago. I'm just like,
hey, no problem. But I bet you I ain't getting on no plane and going over to Europe to ask a white man, can I be myself? That's what Prince Hall did. He got on a plane and went.
We're on this one, man. We just joking, man. God, yeah, bro. Chicago niggas over like, I'm on black, son. South Shore, niggas.
All right. And on that note, everybody, we're going to holler at y'all. On that note, we're going to go ahead and close it out for the night. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace. Everybody be safe. Have a good one.